The Backyard Bear Trap, Eugene's Viral Encounter. Welcome back to Bear Attack Files. If you're new here, this is the place where we break down real-world bear encounters, some tragic, some terrifying, and others, like today's story, just plain shocking. Today, we're heading to Eugene, Oregon, where a man trapped a young black bear in his backyard and then relocated it himself. What happened next sparked outrage, praise, and a whole lot of questions. Let's get into it. It started like 100 other bear sightings in small cities tucked near wild lands, quiet, quick, and seemingly harmless. But what happened in April 2025 in Eugene, Oregon, would erupt into a national conversation about how we live alongside the wild. The morning was gray and misty, typical for western Oregon in spring. Somewhere in the tangled green corridors that run between the neighborhoods and hills near Spencer Butte, a young black bear emerged. Not a massive grizzly, not an angry sow defending her cubs, but a juvenile, maybe 2 years old enough to be alone, but young enough to be curious, reckless, and lost. No one knows exactly what drew him in. Maybe it was the scent of garbage, the allure of backyard compost, or the easy calories of bird feeders. What's certain is this: the bear didn't stay hidden for long. He was first spotted near the edge of the forest around 7 a.m., ambling through a quiet Eugene subdivision. Then he scaled a fence like it was nothing. Moments later, he was on a roof, glancing down like a watchful sentry. That image, furry paws gripping shingles, eyes scanning the streets, would be the one to go viral. Within hours, the video was everywhere. Local news, TikTok, Facebook groups, even national outlets. But the story didn't end with the footage. A local man, who by that evening would be both praised and condemned online, decided to take matters into his own hands. He was no wildlife officer, no trained handler, just a resident who, in his words, was concerned for the safety of his neighbors and the animal. According to reports, the man somehow lured the bear into a makeshift enclosure, a large trap he'd rigged in his backyard. How he did it, or where he got the equipment, hasn't been fully revealed. But it worked. The bear, confused and hungry, walked in. The gate closed. The man had just trapped a wild bear on his own. And then, astonishingly, he transported it. That's right. He loaded the bear, alone and unarmed, into a trailer or truck bed, details remain fuzzy, and drove it miles away to a more remote location outside Eugene. When the story broke, many people's first reaction was disbelief, then concern, then fury. Wildlife professionals were quick to respond. The Oregon Department of Fish and Wildlife released a statement urging the public not to follow this man's example. While we understand the intention may have been safety, one spokesperson said, unauthorized trapping and relocation is dangerous for people and for bears. Why? Because cubs, even juveniles, may still have a mother nearby. Relocating a bear can separate it from its natural range, potentially leaving it to starve. Or worse, driving it into unfamiliar territory where it might become aggressive or disoriented. There's also the risk that the bear doesn't stay gone. Relocated bears often return or find another neighborhood to explore. And then there's the human risk. Had the bear panicked? Had the trap failed? This story could have ended with serious injuries, or worse. Still, the internet didn't agree on what to feel. Some hailed the man as a hero. He did what the state wouldn't, one commenter wrote. No one was hurt, and the bear is safe. What's the problem? Others were furious. "This isn't Yellowstone," another user posted. "You don't just kidnap a wild animal like it's your problem to solve." The bear, meanwhile, vanished back into the trees. Whether he's thriving or dead, no one can say. What we do know is that bears don't understand property lines. They don't read city maps. And when we live close to wild spaces, they will come. This wasn't an attack. No claws, no blood, just curiosity and human reaction. But this incident raised important questions. What is the right response to wildlife in your neighborhood? Should civilians ever be allowed to trap animals on their own? And most importantly, what happens next time when it's not a juvenile bear, but a full-grown one? What happens when someone tries the same move and the bear fights back? That's what Bear Attack Files is here to ask. Because while this encounter didn't end in tragedy, it easily could have. And as urban wildlife collisions become more frequent, stories like this are no longer rare. They're becoming the new normal. What starts as a viral clip of a bear on a rooftop might one day end in sirens. Thanks for joining us here at Bear Attack Files. If you found this story interesting, troubling, or just downright unbelievable, hit that subscribe button. Share this video with someone who needs to know the facts, and drop a comment below. Would you have done what this man did? Or should trapping be left only to trained wildlife teams? We'll see you in the next story. Stay safe, stay wild, and always respect the bear.